Hello and welcome to Saturday Chat with me, Big Scott 35, where I talk about things in my personal hobby when I'm personally doing uh, things that, some opinions I have, things like that. Right, wrong, or different, trying to start discussions or thoughts. Uh, just had a great week, another great Sunday show last week. I've really been enjoying, man, I don't know how many Sundays. It's been really, really fun. Great guests, great topics, great people bringing ideas in the chat. It's just been awesome. I really, really have been enjoying it. Also, last night, just got on Carlos's channel. He invited me on while I was just typing. I wasn't waiting for the Mets game coming on late last night, and jumped on there, had some fun playing with Eric and talking with Bobby. Um, you know, and I mean, we talked a lot about nonsense, but we did have some good discussions. I mean, it's always when you get a chance to talk to some great minds in the hobby, people that have a great thought process about what they're doing, and have a not know, but have a great idea. And three guys that hobby definitely different. Um, you have to take those opportunities to better yourself. I really enjoyed the conversation, had a great time, laughed a lot. But those three guys, Bobby, Carlos, and Eric, it's don't tell Eric I gave him some you know some thumbs up. But those guys just you get a chance to talk to people like that, you take it, and they definitely hobby different than I do. Uh, it's always fun, and that was four people that hobby different. So uh, it's definitely more than one way to hobby, and it's great. I've been having fun watching some of Strongville stuff this weekend. It looks like everybody's having a great time. I'm really glad. It seems like everybody's being safe and got there safely, and hopefully everybody gets home safely. Uh, Sounds like uh, money is flowing there, so that's a good thing. Um, just hopefully everybody's being smart, and that I'm gonna talk a little bit probably tomorrow night about that. But about the money thing, it's like I talked to Bobby after the show. I understand more and more why people don't go, and I've talked about it on my channel, why people are not going traveling to shows as much. Because we having these regional shows like this where you only got an hour or two, or you might not even have to stay in a hotel, or definitely hotels are cheaper. Food is cheaper than going to Chicago where you got to fly, transportation. Um, there's a lot of reasonings, and when there's a lot of YouTubers that are there at that show. So if you notice, a lot of YouTubers, probably a lot of friend groups that went to that show. So the first thing that people always talk about is being with friends, and I don't know how many friends constitutes that. Um, I don't know about all your friends, but like I said, I went to the Philly show, had fun with my friends there. Really can't wait to see more of my friends at the National. But got the cards in 3 days, ate good, and I paid $200 for a suite for 2 nights. Everything was cheaper, and I drove, which I'm going to drive to Chicago. Uh, so I completely understand where these people are coming from more and more. Where I started questioning, like, man, you're in this hobby, you love this hobby, you do talk about, the national, or talk about collecting, but you don't care about going to the national. It's kind of hard. But now I do understand. Does that mean I'll stop going? Probably not, because I really, really love to go to the national. Um, as long as we get Airbnbs and stuff like that for cheap. Uh, this year I wish we could have got the hotel room where we could just walk across the street Uber to go get something to eat. Because you can say all you want about Chicago, there's only a handful of restaurants within walking distance, and they're overpriced and tourist traps. You need to get away from the convention center more to go get some regular food, or something that's just easy to eat or a little bit cheaper. And then you're paying for an Uber, so who knows how much you're saving. But and that's more I'll talk about when we get on the road to Chicago. Um, so, and we'll have plenty to talk about then. But I'm probably keep, because I do talk a lot about value, and and I know all this stuff about value talk and everything. It's going to be come up in our hobby. It's part of the hobby. People sell, have to sell. People flip. People buy and sell, however you define it. Uh, you know, you buy a box of cards, you're going to sell some of them that you don't want. To me, it was hard for me still to this day to me that, but now I've totally embraced that about the hobby. Um, it's no longer going to shops and stuff like that all the time. And I got to give it to my buddy Wesker Griff. Don't tell him I said this, but he's right. He shows these my local shows and stuff. People like to sell and buy there because you don't have taxes, you don't have fees. It's straightforward cash most of the time, or trading face to face. You know what you're getting at that time. So I think that's is one of the reasons why local shows are growing so much. And as they grow, the regional shows grow up, get bigger. It's like I said a couple weeks ago, I went to a local show that should have been small, and there was a line to get in till like 12:30, 1 o'clock, all day. I don't know how much those promoters made, but I think they did a good job. I hope they're ready to get bigger area, but not more tables, just more space. And that same promotion was about an hour from me last weekend. I heard it was 60-40 in the side of non-sport. So they're going to be here next weekend at the baseball field right down the street from me. I don't know if I'm going to go. If I go, it's just to go see things, just to go check the vibe, check what's going on, see if it is back to 50-50 or 60-40. Because here I've been to two shows, saw a lot of the same dealers already. If I go to that one, I'm waiting for the bigger show in Hickory with the toys. I just found out there's another bigger toy one in Raleigh in July. So I got shows for everything I'm interested in. So I kind of got to look and see. And mostly my card stuff is at the National or the bigger shows. So and I've been having more luck finding stuff I'm looking for at shows. That Philly show was really good. I can't stop talking about that. I had so much fun with my friends, but the show itself, for me, it was one of my better PC purchasing events were for modern stuff. And because usually the modern stuff is where I have trouble because I don't look for the superstars or the RPAs or all that stuff. My guys are not the superstars of the Hall of Fame. Pete Alonso is probably the biggest name. David Wright, Gary Carter. Gary Carter has a big fandom, but it's not as big as a lot of other Hall of Famers. So my cards a lot of times are a little tougher to find, but that last one, and I've been wanting to go up there for that because I knew Philly was close enough to New York where there's got to be some dealers from that area that come to that Philly show to sell. And sure enough, I was right, and it worked out well for me. I did get a large sports lot delivery today. for last month. I'll show that off in a few weeks. But I wanted to touch on something tonight. Maybe talk a little bit more tomorrow night, or probably will. This will probably be one of the key things we talk about. And that I want to get on grading for a minute, and hopefully this doesn't turn into a rant or a red face. Because earlier this week it probably would have been. My group text uh, wasn't listening to my friends and everything, taking it in. We all have our ideas. Uh, Bobbles sent me, one of my uh, Brandon. Um, he sent me a message on one of them a few weeks ago, which me and Bobbles are good friends. So I listened to him as well as he, hopefully takes everyone's advice. Uh, but with SGC and SGC saying why they're getting behind is because of all these deals. Well, that those excuses just don't fly anymore. You're doing the deals you're to have those cards come in. I think there's alternative motives why they're having backlogs. PSA is announcing they're having a backlog and increasing prices for TCG and some. I don't submit to PSA at all. So, but with SGC, with PSA, first off, with that, it's just more and more. I'm in some card groups on Facebook, but the only reason why I get on Facebook, um, and that and I'm in a gaming group, a couple of gaming groups, and I also North Carolina barbecue group. So that's why I get on Facebook. Uh, and I the person sent in a card. It was a 1 of 5, and I'm sure other people are gonna be that listens to this is in this group too. Red Bowman first card. I don't think it was autographed. It got a 10, and they charged this guy another $500 for grading this card. I think he showed his bill 1,300, and he was happy about it. That tell me you're new to this without telling me you're new, because just 5-6 years ago that didn't happen. We were grading at less than $10 a card. Uh, then it got crazy, and then we wanted to blame these modern cards, and then we wanted to blame. Now we're blaming TCG. I think that's one of the reasons why now people are hating TCG, because older people or people that are in the sports hobby, because when you start looking at the what Gem Mint or whatever numbers of how many cards get done every month, TCG is just going up, 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 and up, and to get graded. So that takes time. And I know on CGC, I send in a lot of TCG there, a lot of letters I'm throwing out there. And so TCG is very easy to copy, make fakes, stuff like that. So it takes more time to grade those. And especially like I'm sending in Japanese versions, so they're even faked even more uh, for my buddy Ryan. And so that's going to take a little while. They got to authenticate them and grade them and make sure they're real. And, and I appreciate that. I just wish they were a little bit more transparent. Hey, we're going to have to take a little bit longer. We're checking on this stuff. I wish they just sent out an email for that. That's all I'm asking. Because you're paying for a service. Now, this guy that paid $500 didn't get any different service than if you're paying $25 a card. That's what I get angry. I've always talked about, if a Corvette, my car gets in a car wash. I got a little Mitsubishi. Mine goes into car wash, and a Corvette comes behind me. They're not going to get at the end and go, hey, we cleaned up your Corvette and detailed it. We're going to hold it until you pay us an extra $500 because we just increased the value of your Corvette. That is ridiculous. No other place does this shit happen. Excuse my language. But it gets me very when I people get taken advantage of, and then we smile and happy, and when it happens, it's kind of disappointing. Uh, I also told somebody, you don't hire a maid service to come to your house, clean your house. They put a lock on your door because they increase the value of your house by cleaning it and detail, power washing everything. And, you can't get in until because they upped the price from whatever it was by $500. Um, it's a scam. That is a definition of a scam. We're not going to send you. What would happen if this guy said, "I don't have $500"? They keep the card, or they break it out, send it back to you. And the other thing is, 5 years from now, this guy doesn't make the major leagues. It's just a doorstop or place to put your mug on. Are they going to reimburse you your $500 back because the card's worth $15? I mean, to me, that's where the scam is. It's ridiculous. I know I've been told, oh, it's for insurance. Insurance for what? If it gets lost in the mail's not going to pay for it. So you're going to tell me they're going to pay for it? Well, that's the cost of doing business. You chose that business. Uh, you know, to me, you give a voucher and it's a lost in the mail is lost in the mail. That's the risk we all take by doing this. And some people don't like to do it. They only like to do it in person. If my card was that expensive, I wouldn't have sent it in through the mail myself. It would have been no way. Um, not a chance in hell. But people do, and I think that's a chance you're taking, and a chance that you need to look in the mirror and say, I'm taking this chance. Because I know I just send out a box of cards last week or last thing for CGC, and it was $700, and I was nervous the whole time it was out. I think, and they're not my cards, so if they're my cards and they're gone, it is what it is. I don't want to hear, I don't want to see it happen, but things happen. But this thing where PSA and SGC, I've told you now that I'm just not gonna. I don't send a PSA after July. My CGC runs out, then I'm going to let it run out and not renew it, and because I don't really need to get my cards graded for non-sport, and I do it just because it's fun. It's part of the hobby to me now. But if I need to grade stuff, I just go with SGC until SGC gets 100% enveloped in the PSA. And I think this is the first step: is starting backlogs, making people wait a little longer, because to me, it's money in the bank for them. Knowing they have stuff in the backlogs for next month already knows they got money ahead. So the people on the board and the people that bought, they know they have money in pocket already. And we are willing to wait. We'll bitch and complain. And I won't grade, and we'll grade, and we'll just keep on grading. And we know there's a new influx of people that came in before the COVID and really during COVID that's really changed the landscape of our hobby, and a big part of it is grading. And PSA got bought by people that number one issue is to make money, and which is all businesses, but for them it's at a huge return on investment. That's what their big thing is. This thing where everybody's all their collectors. Yeah, they collect Benjamins is what they collect. And at the end of the day, yes, they might buy stuff, but they don't collect like us. We we're not like them. And It's just different. And, I know SGC, uh, I, I don't know how long they're going to be SGC. They're longer than what I thought. And I keep hoping and that I'm wrong. Just keep telling me I'm wrong and I'll be happy. Because even though it's under whatever y'all want to call it, they're owned by the same people who own PSA. So they're owned by PSA. You can make all the semantics you want. Uh, we, uh, one day they're just going to say it's not viable. They just make that another PSA place for grading, and that'll be it. And that might be what this whole backlog thing's setting up, because it's just hard for me to believe that they didn't learn anything from COVID. They didn't learn anything from a few years ago. If they had, why do they make specials and then know they can't keep up? Why put themselves back in that situation? Makes no sense to me. It makes terrible business sense. But until we stop, we're going to just keep on going. I mean, like I said, I'm going to keep going with SGC. I don't know how much. I got 7 cards back today. I got 7 going out again with the person I get these from. Hopefully they'll go out pretty soon. And most of it's for flipping purposes. And some of them I try to do. Let's see, what do I got in my PC here? Well, see, like I'll do like Ronnie's, rookie cards. I like to pick one Met guy every so often. Like last year was Francisco Alvarez. I don't know how that's going to work out. I know we're missing him right now, but I don't want to get upset with keep harping on this grading stuff. And I wish I never would have got started, even though part of me is a huge part of me that's glad. I'm glad, but there's a small part of me that wishes I didn't, because I want to watch what I say. Because I've said it before. Mike Monahan knows he's the one that got me started. He didn't know. I didn't ask him personally, but watching his channel and seeing how to do it, and then getting connected with Mike and doing the group stuff with him is how me and him got to be friends. It's been a huge part of my hobby. And it always sucks when it feels like something gets taken away from you for whatever reason. But like I said, I can't pay $25 a card for basic stuff. That's why I like CGC. I pay a little bit more, and it's like $9 to $11, $12 a card. It depends on the shipping, how many people I got in the group. So that all depends on how much it is. And that's a great price for grading. The problem with CGC on sports cards is there's no, they're almost treated in the market like it's Tag or Arena or what's the other one that's been around forever that's down in Florida as well. It comes out of a guy's garage, whatever. It's just not taken seriously, and it's hard to sell. Even though I feel like they're the best grading company out there, when you get an 8.5 or a 9, and if you get a 10, it's a 10. You have a very good feeling it's a 10, because it feels like they don't treat each card differently. They don't even look to see who the name is on the top. They just grade the card. And that's the way it should be. And it feels like with PSA, if you go and watch Wesker Griff's last video about the print, that was probably passed off to somebody learning, because it was a WNBA Kim Martin card, which I think now that she has time to be on a team where she is the player. She was with Iowa, so she was behind Caitlin, a great second. Jordan had to have Scotty, Caitlin had her, and then she had Mitchell and Boston. on it. Now she's got even more part. But anyway, back and Martin's got a couple of players with her. So it's her time to shine now. She was with the Aces, buried on their roster. So I can't wait to see old K Money Martin, uh, you know, get her chance to shine. But anyway, back to that. I just feel like, but if that, I don't know what card comes through, somebody with a big name or whatever, a judge or somebody, or Tani, all of a sudden, oh, that goes to the number one guy, probably gets seen by two or three different people. It gets graded a lot more harsher, uh, right, wrong, or indifferent. But I think that's what's, if I had a good guess. But to me, it's not a $500 difference. This cards are cards just because it's very disappointing. It's very, when I saw that post, I was just like, this is some bullshit. I had that same thing happen to me with Trout. It was only $75. Um, the good news was it was $75 because that meant I got a 10. But that means like for me, if I went out and bought a Hank Aaron raw rookie card and got it graded and say it came back 7-ish, what would I have to pay extra? I would have to sell it because I would have to pay the credit card bill off. I don't want to sell it. That's not the reason why I'm doing it. I want to grade it to keep it protected, to know what I got. And this, they're thinking, there's this thinking that everybody's doing this is in a business of how much we're selling and all this stuff. That means they're not in the hobby. They're in the business part, but they're not collecting. They don't have any understanding that most people collect to collect, not to flip, make money, investments, wait for this go up like a stock bond. Because I think a lot of these people, watch YouTube. A lot of this is on YouTube now. It doesn't matter what it is. And I am going to throw a question out there because I was thinking today while I was driving, which I do a lot. I tend now not to play any music and just be lost in my thoughts a little bit, which might not be great, but here it is. So vintage people don't understand why young people or anybody buys modern. But if you buy modern and you hit a card, most of the time it's ungraded, or you're buying it ungraded and then you grade it and get a 10. So that's a bigger thing. Then you can flip it, you get even more money out of it. But if I buy a vintage card, it's already graded. How long does one have to wait to make money on that one card? I don't know because I'm not into that part of the hobby. So that's my question. Like if you buy a Hank Aaron and like a Hank Aaron can't go 0 for 4 tomorrow. This is true, but Aaron Judge can go 4 for 4 home runs. So that card all of a sudden jumped up who knows how much. So that's kind of my question. I know it's speculating and I know it's gambling and you feel like you're putting your money in a slow like investment that's guaranteed, but nothing in this world's guaranteed. If we go to shit tomorrow, ain't none of what we got worth anything. So that's kind of my question. Is like, what return are you looking for? How long do you have to hold on to it? Because nothing other outside of that person passing away or making a Hall of Fame does that card spike at any time. And most of the time it comes back to almost to where it was before in a few months. And that's kind of my question for this week, for tomorrow night as well. I want to talk about that as well. Because I just started thinking about that today. And it was something that honestly that Bobby said to me after the show. They got me thinking. And it was a great, he didn't even know he probably did it, but it was a great thought test for me. Like, I, you know, I was like, huh, made me think, okay, why? And then it went to that. So that's my question. And any, bring your thoughts on grading tomorrow night. I know how most people kind of feel about it. I'm gonna keep buying graded cards. I want to keep buying non-graded cards. Uh, like I said, I got a stack in today that was non-graded. Uh, I don't need them to be graded. I do like my vintage graded just because I know what I'm working with at that moment. But I bought a stack of non-graded vintage at Philly catcher cards. So, if I could get stuff cheaper and with eye appeal and they look like cards that way cards I feel should look, that's the way I'm going to go. So please come with all your thoughts tomorrow night and let's have a good time, some fun, some laughing, and keep this party going on Sunday nights, man. And I've really been enjoying it. Thank y'all very much. So subscribe if you haven't, like, any comments below, and please share this and tell your friends, come on by. Hey, I got this funny fat guy that, speaks his mind and listens to you. So I like to listen to everyone and I take everybody seriously. So until tomorrow night, see ya.